What's up, guys? So yesterday, the doctor gave me my diagnosis and our option of basically my only option of amputating my foot, um, which sounds really, really dramatic and drastic and everything like that. But I want you guys to know all of the things and all of the choices that I had and that I have still, basically, as I'm going into surgery here in a couple of days. They've kind of reconstructed my ankle with pins and rods and screws and plates and wire and everything else that they have to Frankenstein me back together. They've kind of started from the top and they're kind of working their way down. But here's where everything sits right now. I have a huge hole in the bottom of my foot. And that leads me to option number one. Option number one is they have to call the plastic surgery team. And because the hole is so large now and because there's so much muscle gone, they would need to do a skin graft from my thigh. And they would need to remove muscle from my lats to pad the bottom of my foot and to cover it. Now they say that if you are if you live a normal 9 to 5 job and you sit at a desk and that is what you do, they say typically you'll never even miss the muscle. You'll never even notice it's gone. However, the only time you'll really notice the muscle's gone is if you are like a rock climber. Now me, being the circus performer that I love doing and that I'm training for, doing handstands and doing press stands and doing rope climbs without my feet and doing tissue and doing trapeze and doing all of these things require heavy usage of my lats. And so they said, okay, well then this is a muscle that you're going to notice is gone. So now, if I did the graft and the transfer, they said that in their experience in looking at the bottom of my foot and the condition of my foot and the fact that I have very limited sensation in my foot and the fact that I have very limited blood flow in my foot, that the chances of the skin graft actually taking and being received is very slim to none. They say that the transfer would end up just dying and the muscle would end up dying, and then it's a process and procedure that has happened basically for no reason, and now I end up with a huge sensitive scar and muscle that I can never grow back. They also said that in the very slim chance that it does take, this only will get me to the very next step, which is surgery number 4. Surgery number 4 of 12. Because it typically wouldn't take, and even if it did, it would only just get me one step closer to step 50. And at the end of step 50, if everything were to go well and everything were to go perfectly, and the skin graft took, and all the other surgeries, all the 10 to 12 surgeries over the next years, at the end of all of that, I would basically end up with something that has limited mobility at my ankle and is completely fused everywhere else. And so it would basically, and it would have very limited padding, it would have very limited anything, and it would be something that I could just stand on, basically. Running and jumping would all depend on my pain level, but it would be like smacking your knuckles on the concrete because there's no padding on it. If you can't feel the fact that you stubbed your toe and you broke your foot, and you just don't know that you broke your foot because you can't feel it, then that has spread infection, and then we're dealing with amputation all over again. And they say that at the end of all of this, they can pretty much guarantee that it will cause me pain for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. Which will hopefully be the next 70 years. The next 70 years I'll be experiencing pain in a foot that is barely even usable. And so they say that in their best opinion, it is not wise to do the skin graft at all. At all. Obviously for many reasons. Option number 2 that I have is they can leave the wound open how it is and see how the body does heal and see if it can actually close up and everything like that. But they're saying that right now, with the way that things are, the tendons and the ligaments and the joints all need a closed environment to heal properly and to cultivate good muscle tissue and good growth. And so by leaving it open, not only will things not heal correctly, but the chance of infection is extremely high. And then it could spread to other parts of my body, and I could end up having to amputate even higher. I could end up having to amputate if it got to my hands. I could have to amputate my other foot if the infection spread. So obviously, leaving it open really isn't that good of an option at all anyway. And then they've got option number 3. And option number 3 is amputation, where you're dealing with a 45-minute surgery. 45 minutes. They go in, and 45 minutes later, you're done. And a week and a half to 2 weeks after that, the outside of your skin is healed. And then you just can't put weight on it for a month. And at the end of a month, you can start using your temporary prosthetic and using shrink socks and whatnot. And then 6 weeks to 3 months after your surgery, they will fit you for your final prosthetic. And in that final fitting, that is when you learn to use your prosthetic. And they say that the majority of people who use crutches to get around, to get into the building, once they're fit for their final prosthetic, they walk out and they just continue with their life. Three options is all I had. And I think I chose the best one. I still have my doubts. I still have things running through my brain and everything like that. But amputation, I feel like, is my best option. It's the only one that I have. It's the only one. It's the only one.